Good morning. The time is 10:06 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our best day of the week. It's Sunday, and the calendar is 4/6 of 2014. I'm taking the NYSE list of percent losers on Friday, and we're going to go through them. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to look and see is the algorithms and the supercomputer high frequency is out of this tape. We're going to be taking a look at the oversold condition that would be tradable for a trade, and that trade would be able to buy those lows and then sell them up as they go to that resistance level. Some of these are going to have daily sell signals, and until they change around, once they do change, when you're getting those entries, of course you're going to make higher highs again. But for right now, we're going to take the oversold condition, and we're going to take a look at the biggest point losers here on the this is an oversold list. So basically, I'm going to start with GHC, and I can say right now by looking at the daily chart that this one is at all-time highs right here. You can clearly see that. And basically, we can see here the actual reversal in this particular stock. And once again, CHD, it's fairly expensive stock, but it is up there at 700 and some odd dollars a share in the in the NYSE format. So it's testing its 10 and its 20 days. That's this one. It's not in an oversold condition, but it is overbought up here, and we have a big daily reversal getting below those 10 and 20 day moving averages. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go right on to the next one. We're going to go to CMG. And in the CMG, we can see clearly that this big stock was used in a high frequency algorithm which shoots to the overbought territory, and they always overshoot. They may not see this high for many years. It's always possible. But we will know as we move through the earnings season, it's had a huge reversal, about to crack a daily buy signal. I'm going to tell my MMTs right now to flag on their Excel spreadsheet to flag CMG. Highlight it, flag it. It's going, but it's finally, listen, the stock was ridiculously overbought. And now that trend is changing, and if that daily sell signal hits, this is going to pay a lot of money. And another thing I'm going to say about this one here, this one was used. They leveraged this thing up in that algorithm as far as you could get it. And now they've taken the other side of the trade to the short side. 10-day is going down. The 20-day, you've had a crossover there. You got the 50-day, you got, now check this out. I'm going to say this once again. I'm going to go over here. And the reason why I'm spending a little bit more time on this one, MMT, is you got to realize right here that was $622. They overshot this to the long side of the market. That was a ridiculous price. And from 622, we are now in this high flyer. We hit a low of 651. Market, any upside is a short. And if we break below the 50, which we already did, that 100-day is there. I'm going to move on to the next one. Flag that one right there. Big bellwether, we always told people in 2013, and all of the analysis on this LinkedIn, that people were going to get caught. And they got caught up here. And they got caught on 9/12, September 12th of 2013. At $257. And I can tell you right now, this stock may not ever see that high for years, months, or weeks, because the stock and a high frequency algorithm got up to 257, then they dump it. And now, as I told everybody, if you take that 257 and you take the 4/4 low, and that low MMT is 165, that means, like any historical tops, people got left up here, and it's almost a $100 reversal on LNKD LinkedIn. So, in the earnings cycle, you got a very big deep sell signal. Yes, listen, it started out lower here, and we're now down here, almost a $100 reversal. And that daily sell signal is big. It's going to get oversold. And remember, as I've clearly said, in an oversold environment, you take the entry and then it will pop up and you'll have to sell right away, because the deeper the sell signal, you buy off of the bottom, it's going to hit resistance levels and roll right over. LinkedIn chart is very sick looking. And just remember, those algorithms don't care about you. Okay, AutoZone, here it is right here. You want to see something? I'm going to show this high right here. They overshot it at 561. Now, mark this on your calendar. The low was 523 on Friday from that high. That lower trend line is what it is. I want my MMTs to market because I'll tell you why. I want this marked because you're about to ready to go into that daily sell signal. That means that this whole trend right here that busted up to a ridiculous high is going to come down. And it's starting to break those daily simple moving averages. The 20, the 10, and what? The 50-day. And it's going below it. Now, let's go to UA. All right, we all know one thing about this stock. This stock here, Under Armour, was jacked up in that high frequency model, and I'm just going to be very clear about this one. I'm going to be clear enough to tell you that that high was 124.79. You heard what I said. You got that list. You mark it, because this thing is now going to get ready to go into a daily sell signal, and the low is 123.56. You're breaking the 10, the 20, and the 50, and you can see that gap sequence in MT, and I can tell you right now, beyond a reasonable doubt right now, is that this gap, that's the low end of the trend line. Yes, it is. And that is right above what? That 100-day simple moving average. You're about to go into a daily sell signal. This is where the bottom end is going to be. And yes, it performed well, but I will tell you, valuation based on, listen, earnings, valuation, and what should be is totally different than what the high frequency algorithms did. They pumped them, and they pumped them good. Market now. It's broke. Market now. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to go to Visa, and I'm going to tell you, MMT, this stock here got marked up in that high frequency model, and yes, it did. But MMTs, check this out. This stock is broke. It has a daily sell signal, MMTs. And what you're seeing in MMT is the difference between now and what that calendar 2013 was about. And as I said before the year started, the big money is going to sell. They're not buying stocks up here at the high. But here, I'm going to tell you right now, 202 is that 200-day simple moving average. This thing has violated every moving average. It was bought. Short term, once again, you can trade it off the bottom, but you have to sell it right away, and you'll have to get in the other side. And every one of these are great victory trades. They were overbought in that algorithm. Let me tell you that. Now, let's go to VIPS. This company here, when it reported its last quarterly earnings, we were all over that. This one has real earnings behind it. It's going to work that overbought process off, and it's going to make a buying opportunity. And here's what I want you to see. I want you to see the following. This was the upper end of the gap. This is the lower end of the gap before they reported their last quarterly report. They came down, they tested the rally over, and we're testing that now. And I can tell you another thing beyond a reasonable doubt. MMT, that this stock, the 100-day simple moving average is at $90 per share. But just remember, this one did have good quarterly reports in the last quarter. And this one, when it comes down and hit that 50, we're going to be all over it. Because if it breaks that 50-day simple moving average, that's your pit stop right there at the 100. And now we're going to keep going on in this NYSE. We're going to go to this one right here. And this one is Sherwin-Williams. And what did Sherwin-Williams do? Like all of them did, they got overbought. and the algorithm, the high frequency model, they just pump these things to all-time highs and then is leaving everyone behind. Look at, you had 207 here, and now you're on that 50-day, that 100-day, and it doesn't have any great support. And there's that 185 on that 200-day simple moving average, a very good trade at that 50 and whatnot. This is going to be that wall of resistance. Stay on that one and flag at MMT. Here we go with AMG. How about that? Affiliated Managers Group. Look at the stock. This thing got wound up like a tinker toy. And what do I mean by that? That news, these are algorithms, MMTs. And look at here, you're breaking that what? Oh, let's just call that the 100-day simple moving average. Let's go down here to all your other key. They're all converging. You got your 10, you got your 20, you got your 40, and you got ultimately that 200-day simple moving average. Mark AMG, MMG. We're going to go over here and take a look at another one. And what is broken in 2014. This has got a sell signal on it. Symbol, GBL. All right. Market. The overbought was here. It's got a daily sell signal. 200-day simple moving average is going to come into play. And yes, it will, MMT. So basically, on these listed stocks, I'm just going to have to show you that low was 73.55. 73.55 was that low. And we got that daily sales signal. We want to get short when they come back up to resistance levels because, and or if this thing breaks below the 200, that beginning MACD sell signal would go further down and that would weaken the stock, period. Now, let's go over here to SAM. Remember, these are listed stocks. Now I'm going to tell you something. This one too, in that high frequency trading model that pumped these stocks to all-time highs using algorithms and then leaving the investors dry at these highs, is that you're below the 10 and the 20. You're coming to what? That 150-day simple moving average. And I can tell you that the low on 4-4 was 232 MMT, and that high reversal MMT, so you went up to 243 and then you dropped $10 off of that high and you end up closing on Friday at $235 with 103.7 thousand shares, and it's going the right way. We'll short these as they go. Now we're going to talk about, this is a good company right here, and it is, and BlackRock is probably one of the best companies out here as far as what they do. And just remember, they tweaked this thing to its all-time highs. I just have to tell you about this one because this one here has that high that was pumped up by those high-frequency algorithm programs in high-frequency firms. They took this to an all-time high of 321. Now, people that didn't sell it, they're going to be left on the cross right here. I'm going to tell you what that low is right now. On Friday, that low was 308. So from 320 down to 308 on Friday with a close at 308.92 MMT. The volume 876,151 MMT. This is a reversal, but remember one thing. We want to buy the best of the breed. This is one of the best of the breed market. It's having a normal pullback. It hasn't got a daily sell signal. This thing is going to perform when it comes down to these moving averages. 305 is 100. The 50 is 303.5. The 40 simple. Oh yes, 305.07. And that 10-day though, that's 311. So basically barely got under that 10-day simple movement average. We're going to be watching that when we come down and test these on the lower end, is how we can buy this stock off of that bottom, and then we would sell it back to the marketplace, and we're going to see if it closes below it. Market MMT. Mark it in your spreadsheet, please. Do thy now. Okay, so we're going to move on. BlackRock is a good one. Now here, ACT. This one here, this one made a high of 229, and now it's violating its simple moving averages, and 199 was the low. Now, some of these companies, they got good earnings, but I can just say to you now that these algorithms, that are using high frequency firms, they just pump them to the top up here and leave the buyer stuck. And now we're going to come down. We are violating right now, the 50, the 10, and the 20. And not only that, you do have a daily sell signal, MMT. You must mark that one. Now I'm going to move on to ICE. This is one of the better breeds in the exchange models, and I just want you to see. I want you to see how that algorithm pumped this thing to glory. And yes, they pumped it and they got short. And a lot of people will never understand it, but the MMTs do now. Let's just take a look at this MMT. Let's just take a look at this. ICE, mark it down on your list. And I'm going to tell you how these algorithms get these highs in. And you know what? I'm going to tell you that was a great trade up to 229 on 7 of 2014, and we hit that low on 4/1 of 192. And now we're violating all of the key technical daily movement averages, MMT, but I will be happy to announce to you to flag it, because when we break below here, and if we break that last trend line, the deeper oversold we get, we can buy these off of that bottom. We're going to have to be a seller right away. It's not like buying a pullback in a bull run on a stock. It's quite the opposite. Market now, MMT. Here we go, MTD. Toledo International is broken. It's on its 10-20. It's on its key. We got resistance up here. I just want to show you that this daily bar on Friday, that, once again, in these high frequency algorithmic programs, that high was 243 MMT, and that low was 234. The close 235 MTD. Mark it down on your sheet, MMT. Now I'm just going to let you know that double top up here, but here's what I'm going to let you know. That was 258 on the high on 27, 2014, 258. And do you see this low right here? That was done on 3/24, 2014. That low was 229. The close at that date, 232. We're breaking down. Now, MMT, this is when you would buy the dip. When the lower that we go here, we would take it for a trade. Let this be the reference. We would buy these dips just like this, and then go right up, and we would sell out of it and get short. Put this and mark it down on your list, and also learn from this on-balance volume. We'll do that later, but these sell signals is how you buy them when they're oversold short term, and then you sell right back short. Let that be known, MMT, as an example right here and now. Here we go. COO, Cooper Company, Inc. I want you to know, MMT, that high was 145 on 3/7. Yes, it was 3/7 of March 2014. Now, once again, classical double top. That high there, 139. This particular low was 131. The volume is 511,000 shares. 138 was a high on Friday. 132 was a nice trade. $6 reversal on 511,000 shares. Yes, MMT, it's going to come down here. It's going to test these daily movement averages. And just let me let you know where that low was. That low was 116.95 on what? 2014. And look at that thing. They just pumped the grease on it. Look for that trade to be there, MMT. I am going to say CVD. And what I'm going to say is how those algorithms ran these things to big highs. Look at that Friday sell signal. It's violating. It started 2014 out over here. And I'm going to show that date here and now, MMT. Let's get busy, MMT. That breakout where that gap was, you got to know, that was 86.44. Then we hit an extreme high right up here. We made the higher high up there at 106. It pulled back like it should to the 50-day simple. Comes right back up to, on 4/3 that is, to 106. And then drops down here from 106 to what? Oh my goodness sakes. How about 99.63? Now, MMT, what we're doing best is how these stocks are setting up for this earnings report, how you can take a trade with 90% in your favor and only 10% risk. Yes, MMT, you heard what I said. This has fallen below its key daily simple moving averages. Let that be known right now. And I'm just going to draw a trend line for you right here. This violates it. Look at the amount. Look at that selling from 105.71 down to 99.63, violating the 10, the 20, and the 50. And I will tell you, any move up to resistance, it hasn't hit that daily sell signal. But when it does, you better have this marked, and you better do your homework, and you better mark these things. Thank you very much. Okay, MMT, we're going to do part 2 now. And we made it right here from part 1. We're going to start part 2 with that famous stock, Yelp.